A standoff between pro and anti-government protesters has left at least 3 people dead in Venezuela. Caracas has been gripped by weeks of rival demonstrations. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has faced growing criticism as the country battles record inflation and rising murder rates. For more, I'm joined by Martin Markovits, who's live now in Caracas.
Hi, Mike. How are you? Yes, there's no official word right now, but at least 2 people are dead as a result of these protests. It all started when anti-government protesters headed to the Attorney General's office in downtown Caracas today. They were demanding the release of 19 students who are in jail. When they got to the area, a confrontation occurred between them and pro-government armed motorcycle groups. Soon, shots rang out. Over 1,000 students in support of Venezuela's opposition came out in full force in the capital of Caracas to protest the recent wave of violence and economic troubles plaguing the country.
We're marching today against insecurity, against shortages, against inflation, to fight for my future, because I don't want Venezuela to become like Cuba.
The demonstrators were also demanding the release of 19 anti-government student protesters who were jailed after a series of violent clashes in western Venezuela earlier this week. With the country's inflation hitting 56% in 2013 and the murder rate skyrocketing, opposition student groups have stepped up protests in the last few days. In the western part of Venezuela, they have blocked streets and attacked government offices. In response, pro-government supporters shot and injured 5 student protesters in the city of Mérida late on Tuesday. But at a student rally in support of President Nicolas Maduro, many here were convinced that these student groups were being used as pawns by Venezuela's business community and the United States to stop Maduro's socialist policies by any means necessary.
Because of the frustration of not being able to win democratic elections that were legitimate, they are going another way. They're accumulating their corrupt economic powers to trick Venezuelans with these aggressive methods.
Okay, in the aftermath of this violence at this opposition protest, President Nicolas Maduro has blamed the opposition for the violence. He said that it was set up on purpose by the opposition to blame government supporters. Right now, opposition student groups are on the streets of Caracas burning tires and blocking roads in protest.
Martin, I've heard that there's been some actual internal divisions in Venezuela's opposition as to whether or not to have these marches. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, the march today actually wasn't supported by all of the opposition. Actually, the presidential candidate, last year's presidential candidate, Enrique Capriles, was against it because he thought that it actually could lead to violence, which is what actually happened. But another sector of the opposition, a lot of people say a more radical sector, went ahead with the protests. And as a result, as we can see, there was some bloodshed today.
Yes, Martin Markovits live for us in Caracas. Thank you.